I started to understand that being on the set with her was, the idea was it should feel like one of her dinner parties.
Meg Ryan, America's sweetheart, the queen of romantic comedies, the woman who defined love on screen for an entire generation, has starred in films that earned over $1 billion worldwide. At 64, she stands as a symbol of both triumph and tragic fall from grace. The world fell in love with her, and When Harry Met Sally, swooned over her in Sleepless in Seattle, believed in romance because of You've Got Mail. Then came 2000, a shocking scandal that destroyed her image overnight. An affair, a divorce, public condemnation. America's sweetheart became Hollywood's most hated woman in a single tabloid headline. What few people know is the devastating truth behind that scandal. The manipulation, the sexism, the way Hollywood punished her for being human while forgiving the man involved. Behind that iconic smile lies a story not glamorous, but brutal. A story of a woman who built an empire on likability, lost everything when she made one mistake, and spent decades trying to rebuild, not her career, but herself. This is not the rom-com you remember. If Meg Ryan has ever made you believe in love, hit like as tribute to her resilience. This is the story of Hollywood's biggest sweetheart, who committed the unforgivable sin of being imperfect, was crucified by the media, and abandoned by an industry she'd made billions for, and discovered that redemption doesn't look like a comeback, it looks like peace. What happened will shock you. November 19, 1961, Fairfield, Connecticut. Margaret Mary Emily and Hira, later known as Meg Ryan, was born into a family marked not by celebration, but by dysfunction. Her father, Harry Hira, taught mathematics. Her mother, Susan Jordan, was a former actress turned teacher. The family appeared normal. For children, suburban life, the truth was different. Susan struggled with her abandoned acting dreams. The resentment simmered. The marriage cracked. When Meg was just 15, her mother left, walked out, filed for divorce, chose her own life over her children's stability. The abandonment devastated Meg, not because her mother left her father, because she left her. Meg became the caretaker, raised her younger siblings while her father worked, cooked, cleaned, played mother. At 15, she learned early, love is conditional. People leave. You can't trust anyone to stay. The lesson would haunt her forever. Meg was smart, got into New York University to study journalism in 1979, planned to be serious, intellectual, safe. Then she took an acting class, not to become an actress, just to fill credits. But something awakened, the ability to be someone else, to escape herself. She started auditioning. Commercials at first, small roles. 1981, she appeared in As the World Turns, a soap opera, as Betsy Stewart. She used her mother's maiden name, Ryan. Meg Ryan was born. Margaret Hira stayed buried. The beginning was not glamorous, but marked by determination to prove she was worthy of staying, of being chosen. Through the early 1980s, Meg worked steadily. Television, movies, small film roles. 1986, Top Gun with Tom Cruise. A tiny role as Carol Bradshaw, Goose's wife. The film earned $357 million worldwide. Meg made maybe $50,000, but people noticed her. That smile, that girl next door quality. 1987, Inner Space opposite Dennis Quaid, a rising action star. They fell in love on set. He was charismatic, troubled, recovering from addiction. Meg saw someone who needed her. Familiar territory. They married on February 14, 1991. Valentine's Day, the romantic comedy became her life. But first came her breakthrough. 1989, When Harry Met Sally. Director Rob Reiner, writer Nora Ephron, Billy Crystal as Harry. And Meg Ryan as Sally Albright. The fake orgasm scene at Katz's Delicatessen in New York City became iconic. I'll have what she's having. The film cost $16 million to make, earned $92.8 million worldwide. Meg was 27 years old and suddenly a star. Then came 1993, Sleepless in Seattle. Meg as Annie, Reed opposite Tom Hanks' Sam Baldwin. They barely shared screen time until the final scene at the Empire State Building. But the chemistry was magic. made for $21 million, earned $127 million worldwide. Meg was paid approximately $2 million. 1994, IQ opposite Tim Robbins, $26.9 million domestic. 1995, French, Kiss with Kevin Kline, $38.90 million domestic. Then came 1998, You've Got Mail. Again with Tom Hanks, again with Nora Ephron directing. The AOL era captured perfectly Kathleen Kelly and Joe Fox falling in love through email, made for $65 million, earned $150 million worldwide. Meg was paid $10.50 million at 36. She was one of the highest paid actresses in Hollywood. Her films had earned over $1 billion combined. Dennis and Meg had a son, Jack. In 1992, The Perfect Family, The Perfect Career, America's Sweetheart lived the rom-com life. Then came 2000, and everything shattered. What the world didn't know. Dennis Quaid had relapsed. The addiction he'd supposedly conquered came roaring back. Cocaine, alcohol, affairs. Meg discovered his infidelities, confronted him, tried to save the marriage. She was 38 years old, exhausted from being the caretaker again, the fixer, the one who stayed. Then she met Russell Crowe on the set of Proof of Life in late 1999 in Ecuador. Russell was 35, intense, dangerous, the opposite of safe. They began an affair during production. She was still married, not separated, still trying. She fell hard, recklessly. After years of being perfect, Meg made a human mistake. June 2000, tabloids exploded with photos. Headlines screamed, "America's Sweetheart Cheats." The devastating double standard was immediate and brutal. Dennis Quaid, who'd had multiple affairs, who'd relapsed into drugs, became the victim, the wronged husband. Meg Ryan, who'd stayed through years of his addiction and infidelity, became the villain. America turned on her instantly. Late-night jokes, tabloid covers, public condemnation. Jay Leno, Meg Ryan's new movie should be called When Meg Met Russell. David Letterman, America's Sweetheart, more like America's Homewrecker. The cruelty was relentless. Dennis filed for divorce in July 2000, citing June 2000 as the separation date, making Meg look like the one who destroyed the marriage. The truth, they'd been emotionally separated for years. His addiction, his affairs, but Dennis controlled the narrative, played the victim perfectly. Meg tried to explain in a 2003 interview with Oprah. The marriage was over long before Russell. Dennis had his own issues, but I was the one who got blamed. It didn't matter. The damage was done. Russell Crowe, at the peak of his Gladiator fame, faced minimal backlash. Boys will be boys, the industry shrugged. But Meg, unforgivable. Her next film, Proof of Life, released in December 2000, was boycotted. Made for $65 million, it earned only $60.8 million worldwide. A bomb. Her relationship with Russell ended in 2001. Messy, public, humiliating. At 39, Meg Ryan was a pariah. The rom-com offers stopped. Hollywood didn't want America's Sweetheart anymore. They wanted her punished. 2001, Kate and Leopold with Hugh Jackman earned a modest $76.6 million. 2003, In the Cut, a dark sexual thriller directed by Jane Campion. Meg went full frontal, tried to shed her image. Critics praised her bravery. Audiences rejected her. $4.7 million domestic on a $12 million budget. 2004, Against the Ropes, another flop. $6.6 million domestic. By 2005, Meg Ryan couldn't get arrested in Hollywood. The woman who'd been worth $10.5 million per film was unemployable. What's heartbreaking is the sexism was so blatant. Dennis Quaid continued working steadily. Russell Crowe won an Oscar, but Meg, blacklisted for being human. She adopted a daughter, Daisy True, from China in 2006. Raised both kids mostly alone. The loneliness was crushing. Hollywood abandoned her. America forgot her. She'd given them When Harry Met Sally, Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail, films that defined romance for millions. And they destroyed her for one affair. 2008, The Women, a remake. Barely released. 2015, Ithaca, a film she directed herself. Direct to VOD. For 15 years, Meg Ryan essentially disappeared. Not because she wanted to, because Hollywood wouldn't let her back. Today, at 64, Meg Ryan lives quietly in New York City and Montecito, California. Her net worth is estimated at $85 million, money she made before the scandal. Wisely invested. In 2019, at age 58, she surprised everyone. She married John Mellencamp, the rock singer, after an on and off relationship spanning 8 years. Then they divorced in 2020. Quietly, no drama. Just another relationship that didn't work. Meg has said, "I'm okay being alone now. I had to learn that my worth isn't in being someone's sweetheart." Her children are grown. Jack Quaid, 32, is a successful actor himself, starring in The Boys on Amazon Prime. Daisy, 21, is in college. Meg rarely acts anymore. She's directed a few projects, paints, writes, lives privately. 2023, she appeared in the rom-com What Happens Later, which she also directed and co-wrote. A small comeback at 6-1. Reviews were mixed. Box office was minimal. But Meg didn't seem to care. "I'm not trying to be America's sweetheart again," she told the New York Times. "I'm just trying to be Meg." She's become an advocate for adoptive families. Speaks about the stigma adopted children face. The peace she's found isn't glamorous. It's quiet, real. Meg doesn't do red carpets much. Doesn't chase roles. Doesn't need Hollywood's approval anymore. Because she learned the brutal truth. The industry that made her also destroyed her. And rebuilding meant letting go of needing them at all. At 64, Meg Ryan stands as proof that Hollywood's love is conditional and its punishment is gendered. From Fairfield to Hollywood, from America's sweetheart to pariah, from rom-com queen to forgotten woman, Meg gave us our greatest love stories, made us believe in romance, earned the industry billions. And when she made one mistake, the same mistake her male counterparts made routinely without consequence, Hollywood erased her. But Meg survived, not by coming back, by letting go. She learned what her mother's abandonment first taught her. People leave. Love is conditional. But your worth is in single quotes. If this story touched your heart, leave a tribute below. Share a moment when Meg Ryan's smile made you believe in love. Before the world taught her that being human was unforgivable. Meg Ryan isn't America's sweetheart anymore. She's something better. A woman who survived Hollywood's cruelty and found herself on the other side. That's not tragedy. That's freedom. And at 64, she's finally cast in her best role, herself.